Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm disappointed now. I wanted to make it further into the tournament, but all in all, I think I put up a good display this week in general. I think I played pretty well throughout consistently, and I think there's a lot of things that I can take away with me from playing this slam, and obviously I beat some great players along the way. Today Coco just played a little bit better than me, and you can see why she's been playing so consistently well the last couple of months. I think she really stepped up when it mattered.
Okay, thank you very much. Name and affiliation, question, and a follow-up. Willie.
Billie from ESPN. Caroline, what have you learned about yourself from this U.S. Open ride?
That's a good question. Well, I wanted to see with these 3 events that I came back and played this year, I wanted to see kind of where I was tennis-wise, where I was physically and everything else, and I think I've learned a lot from that. I think, I'm exactly where I want to be. There's still a few things that I want to work on and I can do better, but in general, I think, it's very positive. I think every event that I played a little better, and every match that I played here, I played a little bit better each time. So a lot of positives that I can bring with me, and obviously I think my experience, makes me believe that even if I'm not playing, week in, week out, that I can still go out there and play my best tennis when I'm out there on court.
Okay. David.
Hi, Caroline. David Kane, tennis.com. This was the first time you got to play Coco, but you probably watched her a lot as a commentator. I'm curious how different it was to play her, and what, if anything, surprised you?
Nothing really surprised me, to be honest. Coco obviously has been playing a lot of matches on the big courts, and, you see her on TV quite often, so there wasn't really a surprise out there. I think Coco, over the last month and a half, ever since after, I think, Wimbledon, I think she's not scared to hit through her forehand, which she has been in the past. I think she's getting more depth on it and a little bit more rotation, and I think that's why, she's obviously winning more on a consistent basis. I think she's always been a great athlete. She's always had the backhand, the serve, and, the fighting spirit, and, I feel like right now it's all kind of coming together for her, and, yeah.
Okay. Chris.
Caroline, congrats on a great run. Chris Otto with US Open. I wonder if it feels different for you in the sense that, do you notice that you're embraced more than ever as a role model, inspiration, and if you do feel that, and if that does motivate you, and what it means to you?
Well, I think it's just, it's different. Obviously I had 2 kids, and, I want to be a good role model for them, especially, and I obviously want to be a good role model for the kids out there. But, I'm also a competitor, and I'm just out there to fight my hardest and play my hardest, and I think I've always done that, and trying to do that with respect to my opponent and everything else. And so, I just try, and I wear many hats, but, I just try and do my best wherever I am.
Okay. Craig.
Craig Abram, 9 Australia. How encouraged are you with what you've already achieved, and what are the next steps you need to take?
I am encouraged. I think, I think my game is pretty good. I think that I can beat anyone on any given day, but I also believe if I'm not playing my best, I can also lose. Today, my serve in the first and third set kind of let me down a little bit. I don't feel like I had the same pop as I had some of the other days. So that's something I'm going to work on. Maybe the ball here is also a little bit heavier, so it sticks in your racket a little bit more. And I think for the more explosive players, maybe that's not a big deal. And that's, I think it's easier for them to hit through that ball. And for me, I had to just kind of find my targets and not try and overhit on the serves, especially. But, today I didn't hit enough first serves, especially in that first set, and that got me kind of on my heel immediately. But, I think there's so much to take with me and a lot of positives to take with me going forward. I'm on the right track. I'm, I'm finding my form, I'm finding my feet, and I know that what I'm doing on the practice court is the right thing. So, I'm excited to take on more events and more players out there.
Andrew?
Andrew Jones, ESPN, said, Carol, it was a high-standard match, especially with the long rallies that you two had and how you both tried to neutralize the point there. Do you just feel that those dynamic movements in a match like that against Coco, similar to your matches against Simona and many others, is it just going to take just playing one of those more matches to be acclimated all the way back to winning most three-setters like that?
Well, again, I think she played well. You can't take away from her playing very well, and obviously she has a lot of confidence as well. She's been winning a lot lately, so, you got to give her credit. For me, you win some, you lose some, but I'm going to definitely learn from this match. I'm going to go back and just kind of look through what I could have done better and try and do that next time. So yeah, that's kind of the plan, and that's usually the plan for me.
David?
Caroline, it seemed like at some point you were wishing for the lights to be turned on Arthur Ashe. How difficult was it to see at the later stages of the match?
I mean, I asked for the lights because I thought it was easier to see with the lights on. So, it was the same for both. But I asked for it in my last match as well, just because it just gets a little darker in there, and there are lights. So.
Ava?
Ava Wallace, The Washington Post. Caroline, I know you've talked about this in many forms before, but with some perspective on your career, how do you feel like the early success in your career, then obviously having to wait to get your Grand Slam, affected you or shaped you in any way, if it did?
How my first part of my career shaped me as a person or as a tennis player?
Having to, I guess, wait to get the Grand Slam after having so many titles as a teenager, as a young player, if that shaped you or affected you in any way, just having to kind of grind through those years.
I don't know. I don't know any better, I guess. I've always been a competitor. I've always been a hard worker, and regardless if I've been winning a lot or not, I've been working extremely hard to just try and become a better tennis player. And so, that doesn't change now. I may be older, but at the same time, I'm still a competitor, and I want to work really hard so that I can be the best possible version of me as a tennis player when I go out on court.
I don't think I asked that correctly. I wanted to ask you because a lot of people are saying, waiting for Coco to win a Grand Slam, and she's won a ton of, I think she's won 5 titles for the first time since you did it as a teenager. What do you feel like you learned in getting the Grand Slam later in your career and saying, it's okay, you can go and win a bunch of other titles before?
Well, I think just like in life, everyone goes through their journey in different ways and different timings. And, just because your first tournament win is a Grand Slam doesn't mean that you're going to have an absolutely all-star career later on. Or just because, you win quickly or you win late, it doesn't really define who you are. So at the end of the day, everyone has their own path, and obviously Coco is doing well. She came on tour very young, and there was a lot of eyes on her immediately, and with that comes expectation and everything else. But she has a great team around her, and she's a hard worker. She's a great athlete, and when her time comes, it's gonna come. One thing we know about Coco and what we've seen, I think, especially in the last month and a half, is that she wants to get better and she wants to push forward. And, that's great to see. That's what you want to see in a young player. And, I think most importantly, it's always just having great people around you.